Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Todd Chrisley's son heartbroken, dad officially severs all ties. One of Todd Chrisley's sons has been left heartbroken, but did the father officially sever all ties? It has been hard for his children since he and his wife, Julie Chrisley, are behind bars. Yet, has Todd found a way to hurt one of his kids from jail? Keep reading for more details on what is going down. Todd Chrisley's son heartbroken, dad officially severs all ties. Since Todd Chrisley started serving his 12-year prison sentence in Pensacola, Florida, things have changed. His daughter, Savannah Chrisley, has had to take on the parental role of his son, Grayson Chrisley, and his granddaughter-turned-daughter, Chloe Chrisley. Todd's wife, Julie Chrisley, was sentenced to 7 years and is serving her time in Kentucky. Therefore, it is not so easy for the children to see their parents all of the time. Savannah has admitted to having guilt over not being there for them as much or living her life the way she wants to. Chase Chrisley called off his engagement and started a new romance while his parents were incarcerated. Plus, Savannah has accused her sister, Lindsay Chrisley, of putting Todd and Julie in prison. There is a lot of familial drama, and now it is only getting worse. For Father's Day, Todd's son from a previous marriage and Chloe's father, Kyle Chrisley, shared an interesting Instagram post. It was of him and his father when he was young. He wrote, "Even though you won't talk to me," but still proceeded to wish Todd well. Now, according to In Touch Weekly, Kyle Chrisley is speaking out about his estrangement from his father, Todd Chrisley. So, it seems that Kyle has tried all that he can and does want a relationship with Todd. Unfortunately, there is something blocking that from happening, though Kyle has no idea what it is. Mended fences. The two have had a strained relationship in the past. However, they were able to reconcile, as Kyle Chrisley explained. Once Todd Chrisley went to jail, things started off really well, per Kyle. The two emailed and Kyle visited a few times, he went on to add. Furthermore, he does not see his stepmother, Julie Chrisley, or his daughter, Chloe Chrisley. He was supposed to speak to Savannah Chrisley regarding that detail, but was told it would never happen. The weight of the words hung heavy in the air, a sentence Patrick Chrisley never imagined would escape his father's lips. "I can't do this anymore, we're done." The air felt colder, the warmth of the Chrisley family mansion seemed to dim, and Patrick stood frozen in disbelief, the ornate chandelier above them casting fractured light that matched his fractured heart. It had always been complicated between Todd and his children. The Chrisley patriarch, known for his sharp tongue and perfectionist streak on Chrisley Knows Best, was both adored and feared by his brood. But Patrick, the middle son, had long been the family enigma. A dreamer, a wanderer who never quite fit into Todd's tightly scripted narrative of success. Growing up, Patrick had been the quiet one, more interested in sketching in his notebook than arguing over Sunday brunch. His siblings teased him for his sensitivity, but it was Todd's disappointment that stung the most. While his older brother Chase excelled at mirroring Todd's ambition, and Savannah gleamed with the same charm, Patrick's artistic pursuits were often dismissed as frivolous. "You're wasting your potential," Todd had said more than once, his tone sharp and cutting. "The world doesn't care about another starving artist. You need to focus on something real." Patrick had tried, he really had, to mold himself into the image his father wanted. He dabbled in real estate, joined Chase in a few business ventures, and even attempted to host a podcast with Savannah, but none of it felt authentic, and the rift between him and Todd only widened as the years passed. Then came the Chrisley family's public downfall. Todd and Julie's legal troubles made headlines, shaking the carefully curated facade of their perfect Southern life. Patrick, already estranged from his father, watched from a distance as the media frenzy unfolded. He felt conflicted. Part of him ached for his family, but another part felt vindicated. Perhaps now the world would see the cracks beneath the glossy surface. Patrick thought time and distance might heal the wounds, but the divide only deepened. Todd, who was now serving his prison sentence, seemed to grow colder with each passing day. The occasional phone calls between them were fraught with tension, Todd's clipped tone a constant reminder of his disapproval. It was during one such phone call that everything came to a head. Patrick had been hesitant to bring it up, but he finally gathered the courage to share the news he'd been keeping to himself. He had sold his first painting to a gallery in Atlanta. "Dad, it's a big deal," Patrick had said, his voice tinged with hope. "This gallery represents some incredible artists. They even said my work has potential too." Todd cut him off, his voice icy. "Potential doesn't pay the bills, Patrick. You're almost 30 years old. It's time to grow up." "But this is my dream," Patrick protested, his voice breaking. "Why can't you just be happy for me?" There was a long pause, and when Todd finally spoke, his words were like a dagger. "I've spent my whole life trying to give you kids the best, and this is how you repay me? With nonsense? I'm done, Patrick. Do whatever you want, but don't expect me to be a part of it." The call ended abruptly, leaving Patrick staring at his phone in stunned silence. The finality of Todd's words hit him like a punch to the gut. Over the next few weeks, Patrick struggled to come to terms with the estrangement. He threw himself into his art, channeling his pain into bold strokes and vibrant colors that seemed to bleed with emotion. His studio became his sanctuary, the canvases bearing witness to his heartbreak and resilience. Despite the severed ties, Patrick couldn't escape the shadow of his father's influence. Every article about Todd's legal battles, every mention of the Chrisley name, felt like a reminder of the chasm between them. He avoided family gatherings, unable to face the inevitable questions about their strained relationship. But the turning point came when Patrick received an unexpected visitor. Nanny Faye, the matriarch of the Chrisley clan and the glue that often held the family together, showed up at his studio unannounced. "Patrick, honey," she said, her voice soft yet firm. "I know you and your daddy aren't seeing eye to eye, but you can't let this eat you alive. He's stubborn, and Lord knows he's got his faults, but deep down he loves you." Patrick shook his head, his eyes welling with tears. "If he loved me, he wouldn't have said those things. He wouldn't have given up on me." Nanny Faye reached out, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Sometimes love gets buried under pride, especially with someone like your daddy, but you can't let his words define you. You've got a gift, Patrick, and it's time you let the world see it." Her words struck a chord, and for the first time in months, Patrick felt a glimmer of hope. He decided to take a leap of faith, submitting his work to a prestigious art competition. To his surprise, his painting not only got accepted but also won first place. The recognition was a bittersweet triumph, proof that he didn't need his father's approval to succeed, but also a reminder of the void Todd's absence had left in his life. News of Patrick's success eventually reached Todd, who reportedly reacted with a mix of pride and frustration. According to family sources, Todd struggled to reconcile his disappointment in Patrick's choices with his undeniable talent. As Patrick stood on stage to accept his award, he couldn't help but wonder if Todd was watching. Would his father feel a pang of regret, or would he remain steadfast in his decision to sever ties? Only time would tell, but for now, Patrick was determined to carve his own path, even if it meant walking it alone. His heart still ached for the father who couldn't see his worth, but he knew he couldn't let that ache define him. Patrick's story became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that sometimes the hardest battles we face are the ones within our own families, and while the wounds may never fully heal, they can teach us to find strength in our vulnerability and beauty in our scars.